guys, welcome back to my channel. It's Lexi, and today's video is day 3 of my KandidKinks marathon because we hit 5,000 subscribers. So if it's your first time seeing me, what's poppin'? I'm Lexi. This is my channel. The microphone is showing a little bit today, but we have some good audio, so it's okay. I wanted to give you guys a more relaxed, not up in your face type of feel. So I'm cross-legged, you know, got my little wrap on, we chilling, we having a little kiki. So today's video is all about hair porosity. We're gonna get right into it because I'm not sure how long this is gonna be, and I don't want to be here all day. My beat face is Fenty Beauty all the way, like top to bottom, top to bottom. So go and watch my Fenty Beauty review demo thing. It is up in the cards section. All right, hair porosity. If you're not new here, you know how I approach things. I'm definitely a very relaxed, natural. I don't take my hair too seriously. I think when you've been natural for quite a little minute, you start to care less about the things that people really care about. Like, you start to be like, okay, whatever. So I'm gonna tell you guys what hair porosity is, the types of hair porosities, the different types of hair porosity, the recommended way to go about caring for the different types of porosity, and then we're gonna get into me personally, my hair porosity, and what I have done and have done in the past and what I do now differently, and how I get my hair to really flourish and behave its best. So I didn't want to make this video. I felt like there's so many porosity videos on YouTube, and I never really watched them because I really just don't care. I really just felt like whatever. Like, that's really how I felt, because I think that you can only really treat your hair the best when you like treat your hair. So I learned about my hair by doing and not by watching. A lot of trial and error, and I recommend that for you after you leave this video. Nothing I say is going to be the end all be all, and please keep that in mind for all of my videos, all my reviews, all of my opinions. Like, it's really opinion based, you know what I mean? Like, everyone's hair is going to be different, even if we're both high or low porosity, even whatever. Same hair texture, seemingly same hair texture, it doesn't matter. Everything's gonna be based on what you like. People that have similar hair types to me have tried things and loved it or hated it the same way. So I just think that it's important to keep that in mind on all YouTube, all bloggers, because people just, it's all opinions and it's all trial and error. So take everything that you hear and see with a definite grain of salt. I was debating on making this video because I know that hair porosity is like been discussed a million times, like beating a dead horse. But some of you guys are new naturals, others of you guys just like want to hear my opinion, and we're just gonna go from there. So we're here. Hair porosity, the way that you are able to absorb, retain, and maintain moisture. So the pores in your hair, the follicles of your hair, how you're able to get moisturized and stay moisturized is all about your hair porosity. So this is a really big topic in the community because you can have similar textures and your hair can look like someone else's texture, but it behaves and needs to be treated differently than the other person. Like, you know. So there's low porosity, there's normal porosity, and then there's high porosity hair. Low porosity hair, the follicles are tight. The follicles are closed. So if look at a picture of a strand of hair zoomed in and through a microscope, the hair follicle is going to be slicked down like Rick, you understand? Like super slick, like a pimp named Slickback. And then normal porosity hair is going to have like normal, they're like a little bit open, not all the way, not closed tightly. And then you're going to have high porosity, which the follicles are open. So when you hear the word porosity, think of porous, think of pores, think about your face. And some people have open pores, some have normal pores, and others have super tight, you can't even see them, pores. That's how I look at it. So now we're going to talk about moisturizing. When it comes to moisturizing a low porosity hair, you're going to want to use light products. You're going to want to use light oils. You're going to want to use heat to open up those follicles and let that moisture seep in that way. When it comes to medium porosity, normal porosity hair. Honestly, there aren't many tips. You know, if you're having a hard time, then that's a whole different topic, but they always say that like you're able to retain and absorb moisture just fine however you apply it. And then when it comes to high porosity hair, you're gonna wanna use thicker products, heavier oils. So now I'm gonna get into the hair porosity tests. These are very controversial in the community. People tend to say like either they ride or die by it, or they could care less about it. For me personally, I'm always a I could care less personality. Like, I never really took it too seriously, and I'm gonna tell you guys why. So, well, first, the 3 tests that I personally know of. The first test that I'm sure you've seen all over the place is the water test. You take a strand of clean hair, you put it on top of a glass of water, and if it floats, you have low porosity. If it sinks, you have high porosity hair. Then, and the reason for that, I hope it's clear, is because either the hair is not absorbing the water, therefore the follicles are closed, or the hair is absorbing the water and the follicles are super duper open. Now, the other test, it would be the strand test. I don't know what it's called. Who cares? You're gonna pull a strand of your hair, like still attached to your scalp, and slide your finger up the strand of hair. Now, if you feel resistance, that means that your strands and that your follicles are open and you feel the rigidity of it, then you have high porosity hair. If it's smooth, then the follicles are closed and you have low porosity hair. And the last test that I do know about is the spray bottle test, I believe, where you take a section of your hair, you spray it with some water. Preferably it should be clean, untainted, unmoisturized hair, and you're gonna spray it with some water. And if the water sits on top of your hair and doesn't go into your hair, into your strands, then you have low porosity hair. If the water absorbs into your strands, then you have high porosity hair. Also with that, I think that if you think about it, when you're applying conditioners or leave-ins to your hair and it's white and sitting on the surface of your hair, not really going into your strand, into your follicles, into your strands, then you have low porous hair because it's just not going anywhere. And then obviously if you put stuff on your hair and it's turning into like, not clear, but you're losing sight of it, you can't really see it anymore, then you have high porosity hair because it's going into your strands. So that's the info, that's the tea. You guys can obviously go ahead and do your Googles, do your research, and find out any more information. There's obviously gonna be more info on the web, so take your time and look it up if you really want to. So now we're gonna get into me. The reason that I don't really care about these tests, or I don't take them too seriously, for number one, I feel like you can only learn by doing, and that's for everything. That's for everything in life. So, in my opinion, for me personally, I learn by doing. I learn by experience. So, these tests might give you a direction to go into, but you have to experience all of this for yourself. The dry hair, the brittle hair, the crackalacky falling off your scalp hair that you really just can't get to act right. And then once you figure out the correct methodologies, the correct products, all that stuff will make a huge difference in your hair care. And that's trial and error, right? That's the whole point of trial and error. So a couple of years ago, I had like half the hair that I have now, and I saw the water test pop up on the scene, so I tried it, and the hair at that time was super clean, fresh out of the shower, but not wet, like I just let it air dry. And then I picked up some hair off of the ground or something in my bathroom, and I put it into the glass of water, and the hair sat on the water and did not, sink, and it was there for a little, like 30 minutes, 45 minutes. It did not sink. I was like, all right, cool, I have low porous hair. But all the other factors that describe high porosity hair was me. So I was confused. I was like, okay, that's kind of strange that I fit into this box of high porosity hair when it comes to all of the facts, but this test is telling me that I have low porous hair. So I was like confused, and I was like, you know what, whatever, I don't care. And at that time I was doing the LCO method. The LCO method is liquid, cream, and then oil. I was doing that from my big chop until about like 2 years ago. So if you don't know my natural hair story, I've been natural for about 6 years now. So 4 years into my journey, I was doing the LCO method. That made the most sense to me logically, because I felt like I'm sealing in that cream. And my hair was fine, my hair was growing. But when I changed into the LOC method, my hair flourished like crazy. It grew a lot more, it was healthier, it was shinier. So that's just me, and that makes more sense for those of us that have high porosity hair, which your girl has. So now we're gonna go into about a couple months ago, like last month or 2 months ago, I did the strand test again. And I plucked out hair from my twist out, so it wasn't clean. It wasn't clean at all. It was like full of product. And I put it in a glass of water, and within 10 minutes, it sunk to the bottom of the glass. So I'm like, yo, interesting enough, I now, by the standards of this test, have high porosity hair, which I had figured out by this point, but I was just testing it out for just no reason whatsoever, which other to test it out. From a scientific standpoint, that is 50%. That's completely null and void. And I had variables that changed throughout the experiment both times, so like that told me nothing, and from a scientific point of view. Obviously, me knowing my hair changed all of that, and that's how I figured out that I do have high porosity hair. So, and then with the strand test, child, I am not sure of much in life. I feel like no one is an expert at anything, and I am not an expert at hair, at nothing. Like, I just go through life, you understand? Like, I do what I do. I go to work, and I make YouTube videos, but I am no expert. So I pulled my hair, like, you know, from my face, and I slid my fingers up the strand, and I was unsure if what I was feeling was follicles being open or just like my hair texture. I didn't know. And I think that people are afraid to admit that we don't know stuff. Like, I didn't know what was going on with that test. I feel like that test is like not very helpful. The water spray bottle test is probably more helpful. I have never done it before, so I can't, you know, speak for it. But if you have, comment down below, let us know what really was good with that test. So I covered what porosity is, I covered the types of porosity, and I covered my porosity. I am high porosity, and I figured that out through trial and error, not through some test. And I think this video, the whole theme of it is do your own thing, test out products, test out methods, do the LOC, the LCO, and whatever other method you could find, and see how your hair feels. That's what I did. That's how I figured my hair out. So now I know that my hair likes me to put oil on immediately after it's washed and conditioned. I put oil immediately after, and then I put my cream product. That is the best for my hair. My hair will stay moisturized for the whole week. I rarely do a midweek moisturizer. I made a video on a midweek refresher, and I'll put it up here in the cards. That video showed you guys how I would re-moisturize if I had to. But if I'm using my favorite products, I don't need to re-moisturize. My hair retains moisture so well when I do the LOC method. And I had someone message me like, oh, I tried the LOC method, I put oil on after I washed, and my hair like was so soft the whole week. And I was like, yes, that's what I want to do. I want to inspire you guys. I want to give you guys ideas. I want to give you guys tips for you to try out yourself. And if it works, it does. If it doesn't, it doesn't. You know, like, I am not a doctor like of hair, like what the hell, you know? There are always gonna be tips and tricks in the natural hair community, in any community, in the makeup community, in the fashion world. There's always gonna be tips and tricks, always gonna be a new thing. I do feel like knowing your porosity is important, but I also feel like trial and error is what you really need to be taken care of, you know? It's not the biggest deal in the world to spend your time doing a test that may or may not help you in the long run. I think I covered everything that I intended to cover. Give me a thumbs up. It helps way more than you know. We are trying to grow over here on this side, okay? And subscribe, because subscribe. And I will see you in the next one on day 4 of my KandidKinks marathon. Bye, guys. Thank you.